Mid-mornings on Wycombe Sound. Weekdays from 10. Wycombe Sound.
Just after 12:15, it's Bob Johnson with you on Wycombe Sound through until 1 o'clock. Now, one of the students from Wycombe High School has recently won an £18,000 grant to possibly be taking place in the Commonwealth Games. I'm very pleased to say that international beach volleyball star Isabelle Tucker joins me now. Hello, Izzy.
Hello.
Hi, thank you so much for joining us. So tell us, first of all, how you got interested in and started playing volleyball.
So I actually used to live in America and my mum introduced me into the sport of volleyball. So I gave it a go over there and just fell in love with it straight away. We soon moved back to England and we got involved in some clubs over here. And then that's what introduced me to beach volleyball. I train in Oxford and have done ever since.
And so for those of us who aren't so familiar with volleyball, tell us what the differences are between beach volleyball, which seems to be not quite so many players, and volleyball, where actually you seem to have a big team with you.
Yeah, so indoor volleyball is like what you would refer to as traditional volleyball. That's six-a-side and it's played indoors. That's the big difference. Beach is played on the sand and there's just two of you, so you have a lot more control over the game and you are guaranteed touches every rally, rather than in indoors sometimes it can be a bit like you're just kind of waiting there for the ball rather than always involved. I would say that's the main difference.
And was that almost one of the attractions, that actually on beach volleyball you get to do a bit more?
Yeah, definitely. I love being involved in every rally, and I would say I'm quite a good all-round player, so it's nice to be involved in the different positions and different skills involved in the sport, rather than just being allocated one position, which in indoors you have a special position almost.
But I would imagine as well, it always looks, when you see it on TV, and I will confess I've only really seen it when it's being played in the Olympics, it always looks quite more difficult, because obviously there's so much more court actually for just the two of you to try and cover.
Yeah, there's a lot of court to cover on beach, and also just the conditions. You have so many different weather conditions that you could face, so it could be windy, rainy, extreme cold or extreme heat. You never know, and that's very unpredictable, and that can influence the game in such big ways, which indoors is a very stable environment. So I would say it's a lot harder in that aspect.
And surprised that you say that actually, so you train a lot in Oxford, because you wouldn't imagine that Oxford is somewhere that actually has many beach volleyball. I would have more thought you might have said Bournemouth or somewhere like that.
Yeah, well, Oxford's a bit more convenient and closer than Bournemouth, but luckily in one of the local parks there, they've got two sand courts. So not quite on the beach, but there is sand.
And so tell us about the grants that you've recently won.
So my partner Katie and I, we took part in a Commonwealth Games qualifying funding competition, and essentially what happened was the considered four top teams for women's in England were put forward to this competition, and everyone played one match against each other, and then they put us through based off of those rankings to the semis, and the winner of both those semis got the 18k grant. So two teams were given this funding to help prepare us for Commonwealth 2022, and luckily my partner and I were one of those.
I mean, that must have been so nerve-wracking though, actually having to compete, knowing that was the prize. But must have been, going into that last game must have been quite huge.
Honestly, it was immense. It was crazy. I think we hadn't prepared ourselves mentally to actually win it. We were just going in to try and prove a point because we were the youngest team there by far. And honestly, we're just amazed with the result and couldn't be happier.
Yeah, I mean, did you plan anything at all, if you'd won, or was it just very much in the moment when you'd won, you just let yourself go, sort of thing?
Yeah, it was just in the moment. We didn't quite have that expectation. Obviously we knew we could do it, but we weren't there with the same obviously we were there with the intention that the other teams had, but we didn't have the expectation, which made it almost better because we were the underdogs almost.
Yeah, I mean, and again, it sounds so impressive when you're saying that you were significantly the youngest competitors there as well.
Yeah, we my partner was 18 and I was 16, so we were a lot younger than them.
And so what does it actually mean? So you've got the £18,000. Does it mean that you're definitely in the Commonwealth Games, or do you then have to qualify for that?
So unfortunately, it doesn't mean that we get an automatic spot for the Commonwealth Games. What happens is the teams that won this money have to use this before next May, and it's as part of the preparation process. So you can use it for physio, trainings, competitions, but it all has to be abroad to kind of like extend your skills and your like work, basically.
So you can't sort of like go into the Eden Centre and say, right, okay, I'm gonna have a little splash out for my friends or anything like that.
Unfortunately not, but yeah, I'm so grateful for it, and it'll be put towards good things for sure.
Sure, and so you know the Commonwealth Games are not that long away now, and in Birmingham next year. So that even so, that must be a huge motivating factor, and it will be very exciting, presumably, to take part in.
Yeah, definitely. I'll be happy for whoever manages to go, but obviously we're gonna push using the funding towards that spot. And there's like the official qualification tournament, which will be happening next May. So that's what our next focus will be.
And have you got sort of like half an eye on the fact that Paris 2024 is that doesn't seem too far away either?
As lovely as that would be, I think at the moment that might be a little bit unrealistic. Of course, I'll push for it, but I've got some more like shorter term goals, such as I'm going off to uni in America, so I'll focus on that. And obviously, I think LA in 2028, that's a big one, and the next Commonwealth Games, so I'll look towards that as well.
And also, going to uni in America and actually having the opportunities, the sporting opportunities out there are actually so much greater than maybe the opportunities here in England.
Yeah, the level in America is just outstanding, and the universities, like the programs are just amazing. I cannot wait to get out there and just train with like some different people, different coaches, and a completely different atmosphere.
Fantastic. Well, Izzy, it's been absolutely fascinating speaking to you. You're definitely a name to remember and to look out for, so that actually people in years to come can say, oh yeah, I remember hearing Izzy on Wycombe Sound. She was the girl from Wycombe High, wasn't she? So we will keep our fingers crossed for you, and definitely be looking out for you, hopefully in Birmingham next summer.
Thank you so much. Thanks for having me.
No problem at all. That is Isabelle Tucker from Wycombe High School on Wycombe Sound.
Mid-mornings on Wycombe Sound, weekdays from 10. Wycombe Sound.